Joining us now, Chairman of the Republican National Committee, right here, a couple blocks from us. I could go over and shake hands with her in her office in about 8 seconds. Ronna, Romney, McDaniel. Mrs. Chairman, great to have you with us.
Always great to be here, and I have to congratulate you on your big win for the Houston Astros. I know you're a fan.
Thank you, and it was because of Justin Verlander, and I know your son cried, but tell him, look, we got him a ring. We got him a ring. So vicariously, we supported the Houston Astros because of our Justin Verlander, and we're glad he could contribute. We're just thrilled for you. Well, thank you so much. And I went to some of the games, and in Boston, we went to Fenway, and I was excited, but I was so glad, Ronna, when it was over, because my family couldn't take another day of it. It was just too stressful. And even the final game. And then, we're watching the final inning, and, we got a 5-1 lead, and my older son was in town, and my younger guy's there. And my younger guy doesn't remember, he's 13, but of course, my older son and I remember all these leads we blew in the ninth inning in key playoff games. I mean, it's all conjured up, So it was good to win and wonderful for this city, and I appreciate that. Very excited about it, first time ever. Let's get to the president's tax cut plan yesterday. What an enormous, bold move this is. A real-life middle-class tax cut. Romney, think of it this way. Let me just give you 2 examples. If you are in the median income with a family of 4 and you're making $59,000 right now, you're going to save under this plan, if it passes as is, $1,200. That's $100 a month on an income with a family of 4 of $59,000. That's a huge amount of money. Now, if you're making $100,000 with a family of 4 and you got 3 children and they're all under 16, you're going to save $3,500. That's almost $300 a month. I mean, that's a car payment. That's a bigger home. That's a vacation. That's savings. That's college savings. That's buying things for your children. That is a huge amount of money saved, and corporate rate goes down to 20%. I think that is just going to explode the economy. What say you?
Well, I agree with you. I mean, this tax cut plan, this tax reform plan is about jobs, making our corporate rate competitive so that we have companies putting jobs in the United States rather than in other countries where their rates are so much lower than ours, and then cutting taxes for the middle class who have just been hammered under the anemic Obama administration economy. People have seen their wages stagnate. They've seen their cost of living go up, and they haven't seen any relief. And President Trump and Republicans are saying, no more. We're going to give you more of your hard-earned money so that you can bring it home to your family and spend it the way you see fit rather than sending it to Washington. And that is the right thing to do. Democrats and Republicans should all be on board in giving the middle class tax cuts and bringing more jobs to this country.
Well, the other thing is about increasing wages, because when you're able to get your corporate tax rate down to 20%, the Democrats say all that money is going to go to shareholders. That's nonsense, because if it all went to shareholders, then other companies would pop up and compete with you, basically, for workers and everything else. So that's nonsense. That money is going to go to workers. It's going to go to expansion. It's going to go to hiring people. It's going to go to wage increases. People are going to be getting 3.5% and 4% instead of 1% that they're getting now. So it's about jobs and increasing wages for American workers. That's why I'm so excited about this tax plan. Now, question, is it going to pass?
I think it's going to pass. You saw Republicans yesterday united in this. They felt really good about it. When the Ways and Means Committee came out with their recommendations, you know that Chairman Brady is going to have his markup today, and then they'll go in Monday and make more changes. They're open to making changes along the way to make it better and better. But I think this is going to pass because lawmakers are going back to their districts and they're talking to their constituents who are saying, we need help. We need you to look out for us. And we've got to get it done for that middle class of this country who haven't seen tax reform in 30 years. And certainly we need to give tax cuts to these hardworking families so they can keep more of their hard-earned money.
I'm with you. I think it is going to pass. And this just in, we said it earlier, the economy adding in October 261,000 jobs in October. And the unemployment rate dropping to 4.7%, Ronna, which is the lowest it's been in the United States since 2000. Think about it. And that's without the tax cut. That's without the tax reform. That's without the simplification. That's without draining the swamp. That's without all the things that we're trying to do. The economy is already starting to grow now. You add this tax reform in, you get corporate tax down to 20%. You give people more money in their pockets to be able to spend. This economy is going to explode. It's really exciting. It's really exciting. Ronna, no question. Ronna, let's get to the Virginia governor's race. I'm now predicting Ed Gillespie is going to win. The Northam campaign losing complete control of their narrative here in the past week. This despicable racist ad they put on. First they embraced it, then they said it was they didn't have anything to do with it. Now we find out they paid for it. What the hell is going on here, Ronna?
Well, Ralph Northam, we know one thing about him. He just wants to be governor, and he'll switch positions and he'll say anything to do it, including putting one of the most despicable ads I have ever seen in my lifetime on TV. One that stokes racial tensions, one that divides, one that causes fear and hate. Is that what Virginians want as a leader in their Commonwealth? And Ed Gillespie's running on tax cuts. He's running on creating jobs. He's putting forward a vision. But boy, Ralph Northam, it's despicable that he helped fund and knew about this ad and denied it. But more importantly, he has not denounced the horrible rhetoric and visuals in this ad. I'm a mom. I'm disgusted by it. I could not believe that anyone would let this ad air, let alone pay for it.
Okay. The fact that he paid for it, I mean, Ronna, you've been in politics a long time, right? When you lie like this, you get nailed. So let's just walk us through what happened here. This ad goes out, which is one of the most despicable, vile ads I've ever seen, ever in my life. It's a racist ad. So it goes out on TV, and it's put out by the Latino Victory Fund. And as soon as it comes out, Ralph Northam, rather than disavowing it, denying it, he embraces it. He says, well, I'm fine with the ad, right? I mean, he didn't say anything. He's like, that's fine. Normally, if somebody's doing an independent ad and you think it's hurting your campaign, legally you can't talk to them if it's a PAC, but you go on TV, you go on radio, you do something public, and you implore the organization to take it down, right? I mean, that's the way it works. Instead, he embraces it. Then they get the feedback back from their focus groups and poll numbers, which is what their whole campaign, Ronna, is driven on. I mean, this is like the Manchurian Man. And they find out, oh, this is backfiring on us in Northern Virginia. This is bad. Then he disavows it, right? Then we find out he paid for it. He said he had nothing to do with it, and now we find out he paid for it in the disclosure that came out the other day with $62,000 of in-kind contributions from the Latino Victory Fund, or the PAC, to the Northam campaign. We find out he paid for it. I mean, have you ever seen this in your life?
Yeah, I mean, it speaks volumes about the lack of leadership and the lack of character Ralph Northam has. I mean, first of all, just not to be able to look at that and say this is despicable. This isn't a partisan thing. Nobody in Virginia says this is a good ad. Nobody wants to stoke racial tensions. Nobody wants to put fear in little kids. It was so horrific that he didn't have the judgment to go, this is awful. Says something, but then to lie about it and say, I knew nothing about it, and now through these disclosures, we know that it was a coordinated effort between his campaign and Latino Victory. He is so unfit to be a leader in your state. I hope that the voters reject that type of rhetoric. I hope they embrace the positive vision Ed Gillespie's putting forward. Nobody needs a leader who's going to double down on division, hate, and racial tension.
Well, Ronna, about 11 p.m. on Tuesday night, November 7th, you're going to be sitting in your office, and you're going to be the first sitting chairman in Washington, D.C. to have seen a Republican statewide victory in Virginia since 2009. So you're going to enjoy that night. Ronna, thanks for being with us. We got to go. Have a great day.